What's good, family? My name is Javian Lorenz Moore, a senior music major, vocal performance emphasis from Stone Mountain, Georgia, currently attending the Morehouse College. We just celebrated our homecoming, and that was a very fun week. Fun-filled events, a lot of things happening, a lot of things going on, a lot of great things going on. But today, we're going to talk about something that's important to a lot of young people, a lot of young adults, a lot of college students. Let me introduce my guest first. We have Miss Aaliyah Ponder coming from the University of Alabama. How you doing, Aaliyah?
I'm doing fine. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
For sure, twin, for sure. Okay, cool. So the topic today is time management. Time management. Now, twin, I don't know about you, but time management is something that I really had to learn how would I say, improve upon coming into college, because it's a lot of stuff coming at you, a lot of opportunities, a lot of people want to link, a lot of people want your time, but you have to remember that your time is your time. So that comes from scheduling things out and actually being able to manage that time. How would you say your time management skills have improved, or how would you say that your time management skills are at this point in your collegiate career?
Yeah, so I think my time management skills definitely need some work, honestly. For some reason, I have all the time in the world to watch Netflix and no time to do homework. For some reason, I have all the time in the world to be on FaceTime with my friends and to not be studying. And so, um, it's been a challenge for me, especially having had accepted this new internship at the news station in Tuscaloosa. Because with that and my part-time jobs and my class schedule, like I'm really packed from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then I have the weekends to really do homework and get caught up on everything. So it needs some work. But
Mm.
time management in this space and time is just so very important because it's like I'm about to graduate. And so now more than ever, not only is my time valuable, but it's so limited, right? And if I don't capitalize on like all of the resources on campus, if I don't capitalize on allocating the proper amount of time to study and really lock in on my work, then I'm gonna look crazy. So yeah.
No, definitely,
How
for
about you,
sure.
twin?
Man, oh man. I tell you, time management definitely needs some improvement. Because, as you know, I'm involved in a lot of things on campus. President of the Glee Club. I was recently voted to be vice president of the Marching Band, section leader of both organizations. Um, Plus, I have two church jobs, singing at North Avenue Presbyterian Church and Friendship Baptist Church that's right down the street from Morehouse. So all that being said, it's kind of hard to have some me time, some time to just digress, to just relax, you know, do things that are necessary for survival, like sleep. Um, that's very hard for me to do, but I realized that I'm gonna have to start scheduling my stuff more, being more intentional with my time, start demanding my time, making my time work for me. And that comes from, I personally feel like having a planner. Feel like I kind of slacked off a little bit after the pandemic, because during the pandemic I didn't really have to manage time like that. I don't know about you, twin, but I didn't really have to manage time like that, just because we've been in the house and literally all I had to do is hop on Zoom, hop off, go back to sleep. And I can do all that in the bed. So really
Right.
all the in between with getting up and going somewhere and actually having to figure out the certain amount of time that it takes to get to that location, it was canceled out. So it was real chill. It was real chill mode for me. So that kind of made my time management skills kind of go down. But I feel like I definitely need to hop back on the train that I was on beforehand, because that's going to help me right now. I just emailed one of my professors and I was like, actually, nah. Ironically, I'm doing a paper on sleep deprivation. And in the paper, I was writing,
Wow.
right, exactly. In the paper, I was writing, I feel like I'm still not completely adjusted to being on campus, even though it's the middle of semester and I should be. And that comes from a lack of time management. And, obviously, I got to hold myself accountable to that. But, so speaking of sleep deprivation and time management, Twin, how would you say when would you say that you were your most sleep deprived? That could be after the
Wow.
pandemic, during this year, or it can be beforehand, or it can be during the pandemic. When would you say you were most sleep deprived?
Yeah, so now that I think about it, I was most sleep deprived. Mm, this is fall of 2020. Okay, so fall of 2020, finals week.
Mm.
I was taking 3 to 4 hour naps, waking up, eating chips, a bowl of cereal, and cranking out 3, 4, 5 page papers, like writing reports, doing book reports on books I hadn't even read in the whole
Oh
semester
yeah. Oh yeah.
that I was supposed to read. I'm gonna be honest, but I ain't read them. So that book report was still due, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" So in my mind, I'm like, "Okay, well, if I binge watch this documentary, I could write up an analysis and then come back to it, and then I could read the synopsis of this book, or the beginning, middle, and end, and maybe be able to come up with something for this paper." And I was like, I don't even understand how I was able to stay awake or like even survive, because I did that for like 3 to 4 days consecutively. And I remember the last day, like my body was so exhausted, like it was so hard for me to like get out the bed, like for me to move, for me to stay awake, all of that. So time management with sleep is definitely, I've had my share of challenges with that. I think I'm getting a bit better at it. Now I know that like if I'm not in bed by like 12:31, I'm gonna be tired in the morning. Like I'm gonna be tired, and honestly I might be late. Cause it's like, Aaliyah, you like to sleep in. You like to sleep through
Mm.
your alarms. Like,
Come
what are
on
you
now.
doing? So
Come on.
yeah, that's where I am with that. It needs work. I think
No,
what's
for
most
sure.
important there though is the discipline to like stick to the schedule. Like I really like what you said about the planner, like taking heed to your planner, writing things down. But it's like planners are great when you're using them as accountability to do your work, you know.
Hmm.
Because without that accountability to do the work, you just have notes telling you what you have to do, which is the same thing that your syllabi is doing, which is the same thing that your professor is emailing, and that stuff is still not done. So it's like all of these conversations around this work that you have to do, but there's no work being put in. So,
Right.
um, yeah, it's
Right. Yeah,
it
yeah,
needs
yeah.
work.
It's like knowing you have to do something and be like, yeah, okay, cool. So I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and I gotta do this while staying on the couch and watching TV and not doing anything. But you're still planning for it, but you're not doing it. So you're right, you can plan all you want, but unless there's some actions behind those plans, ain't nothing gonna get done. Because faith without works
Right.
is dead, twin. Oh God.
Would you say that the pandemic has been a trauma for citizens around the globe?
Trauma walks with us through life, through things we see, through communities we live in, through experiences that we've been exposed to. So, the pandemic kind of took all that stuff that was back there that we really haven't addressed and says, oh, well, hold up. I got another story to tell you.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jermaine Dolly, Mr. Hello Dolly himself, and guess what? You're tuned in to Tea and Worship with my homies, Mignon and Corey. Keep it locked, y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Candy West, and you're watching Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey.
It's your boy James Fortune, and you are watching my favorite news show, Tea and Worship, with my sis Mignon and Corey.
Let me actually twin tell them a little bit about yourself, because you know you really the next upcoming news reporter. Let them know what's going on, and tell us how you
Yes.
balance everything going on. Like, I don't want to take too much away from it, because I know you are RA, you working on being a news reporter, still in class, doing all this stuff, still working, still tutoring, getting money. So tell them how you manage all that.
I mean, you just read it to him, honestly. So, as
Yeah.
Davian said earlier, I do attend the University of Alabama. I graduate in May of 2022, which I'm really excited about. I'm a first gen, so love that for my family. Love that for me too in this degree. I'm a double major in news media journalism and criminal justice. And I am a reporting intern at WVUA 23 News in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I tutor athletes part-time at my institution, and I also am a residential advisor right now. I'm taking the semester off as of now from my sports broadcasting job, but prior to this semester, and we'll be back on it next semester, I work for Crimson Tide Productions, and we do all of the sports media for our institution. So any type of UA, like athletics that you see on ESPN or on our website, like that's us. That's the team that I work on. So thinking about that, and then like leading a Bible study once a week. And as Javian said, 15 credit hours. I'm taking like 5 classes, and they're all stacked on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I am a student that works, right? Because I come from a middle class family, and money does not come easy here. So I have all my classes stacked on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm in class from like 9:30 to 4:45, and have to turn around and go to work right after, which is great. I'm grateful for a job. I'm grateful for the opportunities, but it is tough. And I think time management there is really just, since I laid my schedule out the way that I did, I've been working on learning how to take more time out for myself, like you said, taking time out to fill myself up, because lately I've been feeling really drained all the time. And I think it's a bit of me having to pour out so much of myself in my work, whether that's in a story at the station or having to, invest time and energy in cultivating relationships with the residents in my building where I could do my job better. And so making time and space to paint, making time and space to read, to journal, to write poetry, and to be intentional about that time that I'm spending by myself, not spending that time just sleeping, which is fine, but just finding more ways to pour into myself. So yeah, time management is super valuable there. But I also think that we should prioritize ourselves, right? And the act of like filling oneself up, the act of recharging, the act of rejuvenating, finding things that provide like energy and stuff to those spaces, where we're able to perform well in the work and in the opportunities that we receive. Because it's like, if you're empty, you can't pour from an empty vessel.
Well, you surely can't. Just gonna get more emptiness. Amen. So, Twin,
Correct.
you just said something very, very key. You said you want to pour into something that wants to pour back, correct? That's along the lines of what you said, correct?
Right. Basically, like finding things that fill me up,
Right.
and even people, you know, that are
Mm.
able to pour life and motivation and encouragement and affirmation into me. Where when it's time for me to do my work and it's time for me to be a good friend, you know, to be a good daughter, to be a good aunt, to be a good big sister, I'm not just some like empty vessel that's not able to help or like encourage or like be there emotionally and physically and mentally for the people that I care about.
Yes. Amen to that. So, we talked about time management, sleep deprivation. You just touched on what I said earlier about making sure your time is your time. And you talked about the investments of your time. And Twin, I don't think we realize it all the time, but time is something that you just can't get back. You know,
Say that, twin.
the moment that passed is the past, and you can't redo it.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I feel like it's important for us to take advantage of the time that we have, because honestly, we don't know when we'll get that opportunity again, if we will,
Yeah.
you know. So
Right.
how would you say, and this can be referring to people, just like you said, as far as people pouring into you, you pouring into them, being able to pour into others, how would you say that you take your time personally? How would you say you take advantage of that, and understanding that you won't get that opportunity back? Just like you said, Twin, it's both of our senior years, and that has
Yeah.
been a huge impact on a lot of decisions I've already made. Literally,
For sure.
people have been asking me, "Wow, man, you doing this, you doing this, you doing all of it," and I just tell them I'm trying to go out with a bang, because this is my senior year. Literally, the last time
Yeah.
it's the last time I'm gonna be able to
Mm-hmm.
do this, and the pandemic kind of took away some of that time, so that makes it even
Yeah.
more important to me to take advantage of the time that I have. So how would you say that you've kind of had that mindset, if you have had that similar mindset of taking advantage of the time, understanding this is your senior year, the last time to do everything that you want to do in this setting?
Ooh, it's such a loaded question. Because even though I know that this time is my time and this time is limited, like we serve the author of time. And so as believers, like we'll never run out of time because we serve a God that puts us in certain positions and in certain places in divine timing. You know, so when you're operating in divine timing, you can never really run out of time because God is the author of it. And so I think in this time I've just been working on yes, taking advantage of the fact that this is my last time in undergrad. You can never be an undergrad again. You know, you may get another bachelor's, but you'll never be an undergrad again. And so taking advantage of that, like taking in the moments of like, dang, I'm on campus. Like I'm an RA, so dang, I'm living on campus. Like this gonna be my last time living on campus. Thank you, Jesus. You know, just taking in going into buildings and learning in a classroom with a professor and with other students who this is their first bachelor's degree too, and we're all just trying to figure this thing called life out. And so I've definitely been, I don't want to say hasty, but working on just being super intentional about using my time wisely, where I won't leave UA with regrets, where I won't
Come
leave
on.
UA doubting that I took in everything that I needed. but also recognizing that like when there are opportunities to like minister to people and encourage people, or when there are opportunities to, you know, work in my major, or to volunteer in the community, like pouring out in those capacities have the potential to have a spiritual influence on people, in a very great way. And as image bearers, as people who are walking around like sharing Jesus, sharing the love of God, I think like my most pressing point right now is like, God, how is your will being done concerning me in the space that I'm in that I may not be in the future? Because I'm never going to be an undergraduate college student that can sit here and like talk to people about the love of Jesus. I might be a graduate, I might be an alumnus, you know, I might be a reporter who is, you know, speaking out for those who are unspoken for, but I'll never be in this position again. And so like, God, how can you get glory out of this minimal amount of time that I feel like I have?
Have you seen more people now trying to do wills and estate planning now that we've gone through it, are still going through the COVID-19 phase of our lives?
I've seen a lot more people trying to do that, to have wills, to have healthcare directives, to even to the point of having living trust. For example, a will goes through probate, so it's public knowledge. But trusts are not public knowledge, so families are really starting to take a hard look at what if I'm incapacitated.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think my question to you, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask you a question, but my question to you is how do you feel in from a perspective of like time management, how do you feel like God is calling you to make certain moves on campus with the limited amount of time that you have as an undergraduate student in Morehouse?
You know what, Tony? Honestly, I feel like every move that I've made on campus this year, this semester, has been because God called me to do it. As far as being involved in the organizations that I'm involved in, speaking as a pillar for NSO. NSO, you know what NSO is, but a pillar is a very important position as a spokesperson during that whole event. Speaking as a pillar for NSO all comes from obviously my desire to leave my impact, but also I feel like it's a higher calling from God to make sure that I have a personal impact on the individuals that I come across. Not just a general impact as such as everybody knowing who I am, knowing that I've done a lot on campus, but it's the compassion and the intention and the attentiveness to the individuals that I come across that is going to leave that long lasting impact. And I'm starting to see more and more of that every day. When I see somebody that is down, that's either in the glee club or in the band, and I feel a calling to actually go up to them and be like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Literally Friday, somebody in the Glee Club came in looking sad, had his head down. And I was like, "What's good, bro? You all right?" He was like, "No." And that's rare for somebody to be honest and be
Yeah.
like, "No." But I don't feel like that's a coincidence at all. I feel like God specifically wanted that event to happen. He specifically made me be in that position to see this young man walk by and ask him if he was okay, knowing that he was going to be honest with me and knowing that I would feel pulled to ask more information. Because obviously, if somebody comes and I ask them if they're okay and they say no, I'm not just going to be like, "All right, bro, see you, have a good day." That's not me. Like,
Right.
that's never been me. So obviously, we continued to talk, have a conversation. I was like, "Bro, if you ever need to talk, you can hit me up. Do you have my number?" He said, "No." Gave him my number, texted him, said, "Look, you can hit me up whenever you need to talk, family." Because I feel like, honestly, as college students, and I don't know if you can attest to this, but as college students, I feel like a lot of people feel like we're superheroes in some ways, And I say that because I feel like there is a lot of emphasis on doing the task, without the emphasis on making sure you're mentally capable and able to complete that task while being at peace with yourself, while being at peace with everything that you're doing and understanding that you have to be balanced with yourself before you try to balance anything else. So that's how I feel like I've been called by God, definitely on campus, being more intentional, understanding that everything that happens is not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences anymore, honestly. And I feel like that has definitely opened up my gaze and understanding. This person that you're talking to is talking to you for a reason. So try to understand that reason. Try to go in depth in that conversation, because you never know how it can impact you or that person. You may be a blessing or you may be a blessed from that conversation. So
Right.
that's definitely how God has been talking to me and speaking through me on campus.
And I really liked what you said. Like, two words that really stuck out to me were having patience and also having balance. And I think both of those are so very valuable when we talk about time management, because it's like everybody wants to manage their time, but if you're ever allocating more time or more energy to one thing than another, you know that if you only have 100% of energy, you're giving something 70, you're only going to have 30 to give.
Come on.
The other various things that you have to do, regardless of how many things that you have to do. And having balance there, like, how much time am I giving my friends? How much time am I giving my quiet time? How much time am I giving my homework? How much time am I giving my one-on-one time with myself? And then having patience to know that, well, though I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage my time with this group project because I'm dealing with other people, though I don't know how I'm going to be able to manage my time while I'm doing something that's on a heavy deadline and I'm in an environment where, like at the station, if I have to go out and get an interview, which I always have to do most of the time, it's like I can't say, well, this is how I'm going to manage my time today, because my whole story is set around this one interview. So I have to have patience and know that though I don't know how to manage it at this moment because I don't have enough to go off of, there will come a point in time where I do have enough resources to figure out how much time I have and how I should allocate it. And being patient to know that we won't always know upfront how much time and energy we should allocate to certain things. And that's okay. But we should have patience and grace with ourselves and with the time that we're given to allow things to happen the way that they may, and be able to allocate that. This is my time management time whenever that's necessary. Does that make sense?
It really does, man. It really does. Twin, thank you so much. You know what? Thank you so much, Twin, for coming on here and speaking with me, speaking with us about the importance
No
of time
cap.
management. Definitely. No cap. No cap. So so thank you again, Twin. Family, today we learned or we re-emphasize the importance of time management. We understand that we want to be involved in all of these different things, especially as young people. We want to get our name out. We want to network and get all these great things going for ourselves. But if we don't manage ourselves, then we won't have the time to manage anything else. We have to be balanced within ourselves before we try to balance the things around us, because it starts with you. It starts on the inside. And understanding that will only increase the opportunities that are brought to your door. Thank you so much, family. Once again, my name is JV Lorenz Moore, and I love you and hope you have a great, great, great week.
Thank you.